And welcome to another edition of the Pick and Dodge podcast. I'm your host, per usual, Sean Tyson, here with Zoo and P-Bush. How you fellas doing?
Doing well, man. My blood pressure was spiking once again on a nice Sunday afternoon, but Cairo Santos leveled it all out. The Bears, man, they love those close games, Zoo. They love the roller coaster, but I will say, I appreciate the confidence on the sideline. Very different from many years past where losing or worried about blowing a lead. They seem very calm and collected as a team, and that's a culture thing with Ben Johnson. So, not only was I also calm, cool, and collected, man, but so were my 4-0 fantasy teams, man, this week. Beautiful. I snuck by on Dynasty last night at a mediocre performance, and it came down to Javonte versus CD with only an 8-point cushion. And thank you, CD Lamb, for dropping that last touchdown potential, because that might have been the easiest throw and catch I've seen possible. And man, it was just that's a tough one. Even though they were already whooping them, it didn't really matter. But as a wide receiver, man, you got a little pride.
For sure, man. Missed opportunity out there, but it didn't cost me at all because I'm going to join you. I went in 4-0 this week, man. 4-0 sweet. It's no better feeling. Not going to lie, all my teams are pretty much guaranteed playoffs. One is teetering, but it feels good to have some potential bye weeks for multiple leagues right now. So it's a good position to be in. Fantasy's been beautiful. The spread picks have been horrific. That's all I got to say, man. That's all I got to say, man. It's been horrific this year, but I can't lie, man. I can't lie. Fantasy, I like fantasy a little more than betting.
For me, 2-1 in fantasy. My main contenders with my 12 and my 14 felt really good. Like I was telling the fellas, 14-man league. Had Josh Allen on a 6 touchdown explosion. I mean, honestly, if you're ever in a space where any player is scoring 6 touchdowns, you're more likely than winning the week. So I felt really confident about that. And one thing about that Bears and Vikings game that I remember looking at through the just like the stat box and stuff, the fact that both quarterbacks threw, and let me make sure I got this right, 16 for 32. But if you watch both of them play, it looked completely different. It just made me kind of realize, like, I know coaching matters, but it's like, man, if you're the Vikings, that's going to be a tough conversation. You're going to have to kind of figure out in the offseason, because unless they figure out a miracle getting into the playoffs, which they won't, that's going to be a concerted effort. And like you said, shout out to Caleb Williams. We're going to be talking about him a little bit later, but he's starting to settle in as the Bears quarterback. So speaking of the NFL and what we have going on this week, reflecting on last week, there was a lot of teams who were making statements. I feel like right now, during the, I guess you could say, middle to back half of the NFL season, they're going to be seeing a lot of teams trying to position themselves in the playoff picture. And these 4 teams that I'm going to mention are, I feel like, safely going to be in the playoffs. So between the Packers, the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Eagles, I kind of wanted to get a temperature check in terms of, like, if you were to bet, or not bet, but like your confidence meter of them making the Super Bowl between the Packers, Chiefs, Bills, Eagles, ranking it in order. P-Bush, where would you start? You can do 1, 2, 3, 4, or 4, 3, 2, 1, whatever.
I'll start with 4, man. I'll start with number 4, man. It's division rival, the Green Bay Packers, man. I mean, a couple reasons here. I don't understand. We were all pretty much on the same page at the beginning of the season, almost a clear consensus. I know Philly's up there, and we'll talk about them shortly, but that they were going to be the NFC representative in the Super Bowl. And a lot of that, maybe it was the hype coming off the Micah Parsons trade, rightfully so. But, we were looking at this team like, okay, we know what Josh Jacobs brings to the table. He's been the most reliable player on their offense throughout the first 11 weeks of this season. Obviously, he's banged up now. Emmanuel Wilson came in, did a solid job. He'll be good because they have a good O-line. Matt LaFleur's been a subpar play caller this year. I think that actually has a lot to do with my hesitancy, man. I don't know if he just doesn't trust Jordan Love fully, but then he just only wants to run the ball. And then you don't, Matthew Golden has not panned out. Obviously, a rookie, you got time, but man, he's kind of been a bum.
Yeah. I have big regrets of drafting one of my leagues just to get one little share of them. And I passed up with some really good guys. That's all I gotta say. So.
And then you hit on a rookie like a Tyler Warren later in the draft, right? So you never know when drafting rookies in a fantasy sense. But for a football team, you'd hope that he could at least make some impact plays. They've tried to use him on end arounds. They've tried to throw him the deep ball. They don't really use him on the intermediary enough.
Nope.
I will say it's good to see Christian Watson finally actually
productive.
Very productive. And Romeo Doubs has his big games. He's had a few pop-off games from fantasy perspective, but he's still a guy that you have to respect as an opposing defense playing the Packers. But I think the Josh Jacobs injury, Jordan Love, man, I mean, DJ Moore almost has the same, like, damn near the same passing touchdowns the last 2 games, man. Like, Jesus Christ, come on, Jordan. I know he's played some solid teams. The Eagles, that was a tough game. It's not like a cakewalk for him, but I don't know. And the defense has not been as impactful as I thought they would be. They're still keeping this team in a lot of games, and we have to give them credit for that. But when you're talking about making a Super Bowl or being in contention to win one, this team is coming up a little short. Maybe it's based on our expectations, but I have them at 4. I think they are interchangeable with my number 3 in the Kansas City Chiefs, man, number 3 here. And that has a lot to do with where they might actually have to end up in seeding. They're 5-5 right now, and they have no joke of a schedule. We just went through it in pre-production, but the Colts, they could easily win that game. I get it, but the Colts are not just a rollover team. The Cowboys can definitely keep up on the offensive side of the ball, and their defense has been very much improved with the addition of Quinnen Williams. You can't run the ball, and I'm sorry, man, but that's my biggest hate on the Chiefs this year is they have no running game. Zoo and I were actually talking about this last night, that we both thought they might pull off a trade at the deadline for a guy like a Breece Hall, right? Maybe they got a little too cheap, Zoo. I think that's what you had mentioned.
Yeah.
I don't know what the price tag was.
3rd round pick. Reported 3rd round. They were only willing to give up a 4th round. I'm like,
there you go. So
come on, pony up.
Man.
I gotta say, pony up when you got a generational quarterback, an elite head coach, and Travis Kelce in his last year. Let's put the chips down in the middle.
Put the chips down. Pacheco has been banged up for years now. He obviously has lost a step. Kareem Hunt, man, I said this is Zoo. He's the Jacoby Brissett of running back. Serviceable to a very good level, but he just has no ceiling. Jacoby, we've kind of seen his ceiling a little bit more this year, but just historically speaking, right? He's good for, 9 carries for 45 yards, a couple catches and a touchdown, usually within 5 yards of the red zone. So, that's what he's good for. And he's a great complimentary back, but he's not a lead back anymore. I thought going for a guy like Breece Hall would have been a big move. They have a great O-line. Travis Kelce's coming back into his own. It's taken him a long time throughout the season, or a little bit slower of a growth trajectory for him in productivity terms. But obviously, Rashee Rice is Rashee Rice. I just think there's a little bit of contention between Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes right now. You heard him make that press conference like, "Hey, we're calling the run plays, but somehow they just turn into passes." And I get it. Look, the Denver Broncos, unbelievable defense, and we'll talk about them a little bit later too. It's not like we were expecting this to be a Buffalo Bills, Tampa Bay kind of game. This was definitely, as division rivals, going to be much more defensive, but maybe there's a little bit of a rift there, some frustration as well. But you got to keep in mind that this team also has an insanely good point differential. They're a good team. They're just not winning the close games this year, and that is an indication, I think, of a great team. Not saying the Bears are a great team. I know they've won some close games, but if you're that level of talent and experience and you're not winning the close games, that puts a little bit of a red flag in my mind. So I got a little bit less confidence in the Chiefs, but more so than the Packers. The Eagles, man, I'm actually going to put them at 1. So I'll talk about the Bills real quick. The Bills, they're just a one-man show. I'm sorry. James Cook has been great. I don't know if you guys can hear me or if I went radio silent, but okay, you guys are frozen on my screen. But James Cook, he's been good. He had a quiet first half against the Bucs for how amazing of an offensive game it was. But on the Josh Allen side, man, he's a one-man show, and their defense isn't backing him up like they used to, obviously, especially on the rush side. So I have a little bit less confidence in them compared to the Philadelphia Eagles, who now apparently seem to be trusting Jalen Hurts in the passing game, and it seems to be working. A.J. Brown went on stream and decided to rile some things up in that locker room, and it clearly worked. So, I think the Eagles, they obviously have Saquon. I do think Lane Johnson is a big loss, apparently 4 to 6 weeks, I think. I don't remember his exact injury, but they'll have him back for the playoffs. He should be good to go. Their defense has come kind of into its own a little bit. Brandon Graham getting out of retirement, that was like the defensive version of Aaron Rodgers for them Brett Favre coming out of retirement for this defense. So I just think the Eagles, they're humming a little bit more. They're also coming off of a Super Bowl win as well, so they have that confidence knowing they can get it done. And on the Bills side, I just think Josh Allen can only do so much, and Zoo, as you know, it's a long season, man. All you need is just one kind of tough game. And when you reach the playoffs, if it's just on his shoulders and no one else's, it'd be tough to break through. So highest confidence in the Eagles, but they are not my Super Bowl winning pick. That is the Los Angeles Rams.
Can't hate on that, especially the way Stafford is playing this year, having a career season.
Mm-hmm.
Probably right now leading the league MVP votes if they had to vote today. So
it's looking like he might.
Yeah, Devontae Adams, what an upgrade to Cooper Kupp. That's all I got to say on that. It was a substantial upgrade in the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for me personally, I got Eagles number 1 too as the number 1 team. I'm like, if they have really weird vibes, especially related to AJ Brown in that situation, because this dude is a typical diva receiver where he wants to contribute to winning. Like team success, he's kind of like, I want to eat too. Like if the team is having success, I want to be a reason for the team to be successful. If he has a game where he gets 1 catch for 2 yards and his team blows out the other team, he's not happy. He thinks he's an elite receiver and he wants to be part of the offense. And I don't know, he's as good as last year, but I still think he's a really good receiver. But I think he's not as good as he's been in years past. His separation is not as good as in the last couple of years. So he might have been taking a step slower, but with that off the court drama, like if you look at their resume of their wins this year is insane. Like you got beating the Chiefs, you beat the Rams by a touchdown, you beat the Buccaneers, you beat the Packers, you beat the Lions. So if you look at that resume, these are all pretty much playoff contenders this year, and they handily beat a lot of these teams, and they did it in different ways. A lot of his defensive battles holding these. You hold the Packers to 7 points and hold the Detroit Lions, who's been rolling, to 9 points. And they're able to beat teams other ways in high shootout games where 33-26 against the Rams and the Buccaneers 31-25. So they can beat you both ways. Like on paper, like this team is as good as last year. Like nothing's really changed. Obviously, there's some injuries. Saquon's taking a step back after a historic season. That was just bound to happen because after rushing for 2,000 yards, you're bound to regress. That's just the laws of nature in football. So if you like this Philadelphia on paper, like they had some weird loss, like that Giants loss is still one of the most baffling losses of the season. But like losing to the Broncos, no shame in that. That team's been really, really good this year. So if you look at on paper and the resume, Philadelphia Eagles is absolutely number 1. And then you look at the rest of the teams, I'm like, they all kind of like, Like my biggest shock, as you know, like I'm a Chiefs guy. Like I pick the Chiefs every single year. I have full confidence in the head coach and the quarterback. And I had really high confidence in this past week because I knew they were trying their butt off and they were in situational football in the fourth quarter where I got this, man. Are you kidding me up the field? Are you kidding me? And he couldn't get it. You can't allow a third and I think it was a 3rd and 15. Like it just can't happen. It just can't happen. Like you're talking about a team in situational football last year in these clutch games, single possession games. I feel like they won them all last year in these close games. And just like when Mahomes not being able to get it done when you have the possession of the football, like you can't even blame your defense. You can't blame your defense. Like you got all your weapons back. Like Travis Kelce, as you know, he's really turned it on. Like he's absolutely balling right now. He's already have 631 receiving yards. He's on pace for 1,000 yards this season in his last season. Like Travis Kelce is giving it all after a little slower start. Rashee Rice has come in and has been pretty much the same guy as last year before injury. So he's been a very productive player. And you got a guy like Xavier Worthy as a speedster. So you got the weapons right now on offense to put up 30 points a game with the Mahomes team. And the offense is just not been that impressive. Like you only score 19 points. You're 1-4 on the road. Like you lose to a Broncos team led by Bo Nix, where I'm like, I'm still not a believer in Bo Nix, but Sean Payton. This dude's a he's a football savant. Like, he's a football genius. Like I remember when he was doing TV, I was like, dang, this guy's really, really smart. Like he just sounds a little different from anybody else talking about the game of football. And clearly he knows a lot of football because this team's 6-0 at home and 9-2 record. That's nothing to sneeze at right there. But Kansas City Chiefs, I still believe in you, man. I still believe in you. So I got them at number 2 right now. Yeah, I still believe. I know the road is tougher. But when they make the wild card game, I'm riding with them to the conference finals. That's all I got to say. It's gonna be a lot harder this year because I definitely didn't expect their record to be this mediocre. Like I don't think any of you guys believe that their record.
The Jazz game was the
like,
swing game.
Yeah,
that was the game.
Like there's some weird. Yeah, that Jazz game, like blowing that game, which like Mahomes Chiefs don't really blow games like that.
Yeah,
like, kind of what the bet.
Yeah,
it's not a good team either. Like the Buffalo Bills game, okay, that happens. They always lose to them in the regular season, but losing to the Broncos and that Jags game, I'm just like, that is just unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. And it was the offense's fault. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You gotta score. You gotta score more than 19 points against the Browns. You can't have Bo Nix outscore you. So, but I still believe. But 5-5, definitely did not see that coming. 5-5. That's a very mediocre record. But I think the team's a lot better than their record. I don't know if you guys agree with that, but I think it's a lot better than a 500 football team. So I still believe in them.
They're just not beating the good teams like the Eagles.
That's the issue. Yeah, exactly. But point differential plus 73, that leads the division. So just put some numbers out there. So I still believe them. The Buffalo Bills is a team I thought was going to dominate the division, but that's another. I'm like, they're 7-3. New England Patriots on paper this year, they have a better resume than the Buffalo Bills. And the Buffalo Bills just had some weird losses this year. I still can't get over that Dolphins game. Like, I really don't know what happened.
Yeah,
that team was thinking about.
Was it in Miami?
Yeah, it was at Miami.
They was out the night before.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe they were like, "Oh, we're in Miami, man. This team's an absolute."
This team sucks. Yeah.
Tua saying some crazy stuff at the post games conferences. Like, I'm like, I don't know how you lose to the Dolphins that bad, 30-13, but. As you mentioned, it's a one-man show, and the defense is atrocious this year.
Yep.
The defense is not good.
Like McDermott, like that's like his name. Like that's how he's a defensive coach, and the defense isn't really doing much. So the offense has to go absolutely berserk, and it absolutely has the potential to. But they need Kincaid healthy.
They do.
He's their number one receiver. Like he is their number one receiver. Like I'm sorry, Keon Coleman didn't even play. Like if you look at the receiving weapons, I'm like
Khalil.
Khalil Shakir, a little
Shavers. I like him.
I don't even know who Shavers was, but he got 5 targets and 90 receiving yards. But I'm like, your leading like receivers are this Shavers guy, a running back in James Cook, and another running back in Ty Johnson. And they brought back Gabe Davis because he was good a couple of years ago with them, and he can run those deep routes.
Fill in for Keon Coleman.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, they do have chemistry. Like he just runs straight. He's super fast. But if you look at the receiver on paper, I'm like, he doesn't really have much. So this Superman Josh Allen mode, like I think it's a pretty predictable offense that he has to carry the load, and that's their only way of getting success because he was pushed to the limits against this Buccaneers team, where I think it's a cute story with all these injuries. Like I believe in Baker in the playoffs, but if you look at the injuries, I'm like, they had a guy, Sean Tucker. Looked like LaDainian Tomlinson just shredding this team.
Started him in the league, baby.
God, he had 106 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, and he had 34 receiving yards.
Little JT action.
He had 3 total touchdowns and over 140 scrimmage yards. So I'm like, you have a guy like Sean Tucker shredding this defense. It's not a good defense. So I'm very nervous about this team because of the defense. Because of the one side, it's not a balanced team. It's not a balance. I think the Kansas City Chiefs is more of a balanced team than the Buffalo Bills. And this offense, I'm like, as much as I love Josh Allen, he doesn't have receiver one dudes that can make big plays outside of his I guess it's running backs. So for me, I'm like, Buffalo Bills is a too unbalanced team. I like them coming in the year, but the defense to me was a massive disappointment. And then the Green Bay Packers, I'm just like, as a Green Bay Packer guy, I'm just like
boring. They're boring, man. They're boring.
Dang, I don't know, something about the offense. I'm like, is there supposed to be a name brand defense? But like, they show that they're a good defense, but not. I don't think it's like an all-timer defense right now because they have these give me up games against these really, really bad teams where I'm like, they've lost to some bad teams.
The Browns.
I still have Browns mirror 13-10, like 10 going 40 and 40 with the Cowboys. That is unacceptable. Like the Cowboys is one of the worst defenses in football. Every single quarterback goes off them. So giving up 40 points and tying that game, and then the Panthers 16-13. That's a diabolical loss. No shame in the Eagles, but they had some really, really weird losses this year. They put all their chips in the middle, but Matthew Golden, that was a complete whiff. Like right now, this year, he is not that guy.
No.
They needed a guy immediately to get it done. The minute you make that Micah Parsons trade, you need win now, guys. And Golden was not ready for the moment. Christian Watson might come in and take over that receiver one role because they need a big playability guy with no Tucker Kraft, who was making massive plays.
That's a tough loss.
Like, he was kind of their number one option outside of the ball. So like Tucker Kraft was making big plays. So they lost their tight end. Christian Watson coming back for injuries, and who knows, that dude might get injured again because I just something about his body type. Like he just seems to always get injured. These long, lanky dudes have bad hammies. That's what I've noticed. These long, lanky dudes that run fast have bad hammies. So he's back. Who knows how long that lasts? And you mentioned Josh Jacobs, another injury concern. They said it was not major, but it was a knee injury. So I have high caution for that. But yeah, I am like 6-3-1. Like with those two easy wins, they should absolutely be dominating the division this year, but they have not been getting the job done.
Yeah, continuing the theme with the Packers, I'll start at 4. It kind of feels like with LaFleur, because we all like LaFleur, McConnell, all the young hotshot coordinators that are now head coaches. They're in that like triage. Put McDermott in there, and now Shane Steichen that he's got Daniel Jones. Like all those guys, you always kind of just assume when you're looking at them as play callers and head coaches, you're like, okay, they more than likely like to throw the ball a lot. And I think with LaFleur, I don't know if it's his philosophy of like he wants to commit to the run game and he wants to limit Jordan Love, or is it that Jordan Love is just a good quarterback and he knows that throwing him 35 plus times a game might spell trouble for the Packers? I don't know which one it is. So with that's why, to your point, I think people just made the point is like they're boring. It just feels like they're not really exciting, especially with, as you would assume, and we predicted before the season, even before they had Micah, it's like, hey, we got Jordan Love, you got Matthew Golden, you got Romeo Doubs, you got Christian Watson, even though he didn't stay healthy. Tucker Kraft is a massive loss, but you would think the offense would just hum at a higher efficiency and have like even just deep shots down the field. And that's concerning because I do think if the offense was slightly more explosive, I think the defense would play a whole lot better. And the thing too is just if you're looking at playoff matchups and things like that, I do think if the offense was performing at a better level, then I think in situations Micah would prove his worth because, if you're up 3 and it's 4 minutes left and your defense needs to get, he's going to get a sack or two because I just think he'd be well versed in that high leverage situation. But it's really just about the offense with them. And I tend to think, just my personal belief, I think LaFleur likes to do more of a ground game run. Let's manage the clock. And I do think he might have to shift it and let Jordan Love air it out a little bit more. Because to your point, Matthew Golden has been a disappointment. But I do think if he's going to be using whatever space he was like at Texas, like, basically playing all whatever X, Y, Z, whatever position, the receiver positions in the route tree, he can do it all. So maybe if he gets more opportunities, because it's kind of hard maybe sometimes as a receiver to get your rhythm. And I think he is coming off an injury, so who knows. But all that stuff makes me keep them at 4 because it just makes me feel like they have a ceiling. Now, I do think with the Chiefs, it's going to be a heck of a time for whoever gets them in the playoffs if they make it. But to me, part of the reason why I'm hesitant is because last year we always talked about, hey, they were getting through. And they were just kind of squeaking by, but kind of didn't really matter because they squeaked by all the way to the Super Bowl. And it's like kind of when you have that aura of like, we've been here before, teams feel it, your team feels it, and it kind of just plays out that way. That's why I've always been a proponent of if you want to beat Kansas City, there is no like, hey, we're going into halftime and we're up 17-6. Like, it needs to be 24-6 because then it's like, you're going to start pressing. I feel like it's almost like you can't consciously think it, but teams start just doing stuff that they normally don't do. And the next thing you know, it's 17-13 and Mahomes got the ball with 2 minutes left. And it's like, well, they're going to score and get back to whatever. So I think this year what's happening is I don't think Mahomes and that team has been really good on the road. Like they just haven't played well. Like Mahomes, I think is completing like 60% of his passes and he's passer rating is whatever. But like I think he's like in the low 80s. I saw that running around online today. And I think also too, I think I had the stat written down. Let me make sure I got it. It's he's Yeah, 0-5 in the fourth quarter when trailing, which is
wow.
Wait a minute. That's
an
like if you
ESPN
look at it, it's like,
sample right there, Sean. That's
yeah. I was like, and I literally saw that on Twitter when I was talking, but I was like, that just doesn't even make sense because it feels like there's at least one time this year that like he's done that and made a comeback. But then it's like that Jazz game, I think, really did set the team into a different spiral because I know what the Jags did this weekend, and it's just like whatever. But we all know that's an act. If even at your height, you can be like, okay, this is an good team, but you're going to get a lot of people arguing, and they're not. And the fact that the
their
Chiefs
Super Bowl,
and the fact that the Chiefs just let that happen, and it's like not let it happen, but it happened in that game to where they didn't win. It's like they feel a little different now. Rasheed is a shot in the arm, and Travis Kelce is playing above his head this year, but a little bit of this is going to be like if they do make the playoffs, more than likely they're going to have to be on the road for all their games. And right now, it's just hard seeing them going on the road as a wild card. It's not like they, have their normal, like Chiefs Invitational where they're at home and they get the home field advantage. Like going on the road 3 times, that's tough for anybody. So I just don't see that as a viable path. But I will say if they do get in, I don't want to be the team to play them in the wild card. Like if I get them in divisional, I'd be a little bit more comfortable. It's like, to be honest, if the Chiefs do make the playoffs, you need to beat them in the divisional because I don't think they're losing a wild card game. And if they get to the conference championship, they're winning because something's clicking. Something's going on to where they're doing something out of the ordinary. So, and then with my last one, or not last one, but second to last one, you could argue the Bills are interchangeable. Right now, I'm just giving Josh a little bit of the benefit of the doubt because he just went for 6 touchdowns. So it's like it's fluid. We're just thinking of it like, is he going to score 6 touchdowns again? No. But that type of talent, same thing. It's the same thing I talk about with like him and Lamar. It's like when you got that type of guy who is just a game breaker, you're in any game. Mm-hmm. So Josh Allen, I think, depending on matchup, of course, but if you get him in the playoffs, I'm more than likely am going to see a guy who's going to not score 6 touchdowns, but effort his way to try to do what he needs to do. Because the main thing for the Bills, for me, even with their receivers being whatever, their defense is just not played up to what they've done. And it's kind of weird because if you look at their draft, they drafted a lot of D linemen and other guys when I think on the back end to shore up the defense. So either the rookies are not playing or they're just coming along slowly. But I thought the defense would be better, especially with the defensive head coach. So this is also a year where if somehow they get into the playoffs, and I think if they lose they're not winning the division. I don't think. Maybe they could. I don't know. But
they could, but they're game back.
If they're a wild card team, whatever, and they get upset, I think McDermott's gone. I think the strength, because to me, McDermott, I don't know what he does. Like if your defense is this bad and that's your calling card, you can't just get to keep coaching Josh Allen. It's like, okay, well, no, I think there's going to be a space where if they kind of don't get, I think if they don't get to a conference championship game, he's out because you're not going to fire anybody else.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. And with the Eagles, to your point, their track record is impeccable. And Jalen Hurts is always going to get the criticism of, hey, game manager plus, his relationship with AJ is weird. But it kind of feels like this team is just so talented everywhere that I just expect them to have a collision course with the Rams. I just do.
Yep.
I think that's the conference championship, and it's going to be, if you look at both of those rosters, bro, like they're all just insanely loaded. So it's the same thing in college football. Like now it's a little bit more parity because of transfer portal, but normally cream rises to the top. If you're a 5-star, 4-star, some do bust, but most don't. And it feels like on the Eagles side and on the Rams side, they got just guys everywhere. So with the Eagles, you can maybe give them an advantage over the Rams just because of who they beaten. But I just feel very comfortable. Run game is nice. Like you said, with Lane Johnson, even with him getting injured, I don't know what game they played last, but whoever came in for him, they were showing like an isolated video. He was like holding his own. Who was it? Jeff Lloyd?
GM in the league.
Dude, he just knows how to, like, some guys just see it. They just see it. And it does not matter who's hurt, who's injured, who's up, who's down. They just.
And the ironic thing is, Sean, your NFC championship game, it's the 2 best GMs in the league.
Yeah.
Rams went from trading their number 1 overall pick to get a guy to win them a Super Bowl. They had one off year, and they're already back to contending within 3 years.
Mhm.
That's
drafting. That's strictly drafting.
And all the guys that they traded for are gone, and like their cornerstone player at the time, gone. Cooper Kupp
and McVay. The good thing about him,
Donald. That's why.
And the good thing of having him was a great linchpin, but also too, if you remember, even though Aaron Donald was still playing, they drafted Verse, who's just one of the best DNs, and then they also drafted Fisk. They did a lot of drafting on the defensive side of the ball, which you would think with a guy like Sean McVay, let me get the best receiver. Like Puka was a late round pick, like Devontae they just traded for in his older age. And because of how McVay is as a play caller, I think his confidence is like, I know offense and I can get a guy like Puka. I can find another guy. Like he's probably already prepping the next guy nobody's going to be Puka, but like the next guy who's could get Puka like numbers. He's probably already scouting that guy and going to be able to be like, yeah, we can spend a 4th rounder on him because he knows offense. I think to his credit, he's like, let me go get these dogs on defense and start building the defensive line because I already saw it with Aaron Donald. And it's just I think, like you said, the Rams and Eagles, they're just from the GM to the president, whoever, they're all on the same page. And it shows because I think, I would, if I put a percentage on, it's probably a 95% chance they beat the NFC Championship game. I don't think there's any other scenario than those two teams.
This all turned into a Rams discussion, and I'm really happy about it. So I got a few.
And those jerseys they were wearing, whatever the last week, those were sweet. I don't know what that color rush jersey was, but those were sweet. But yeah, so like I said, I kind of didn't want to put the Rams in there because I kind of just feel like that's going to be default 1 and 2. Yeah. So it's just kind of like, let me go ahead and figure that out. But going on to our next NFL topic, going to be talking about I guess it would be year two. Bo Nix was the same draft class, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, year two quarterbacks with Bo Nix and Caleb Williams. Both teams are basically in the pole position to either maybe win their division or be a top seed. Chicago might be a little bit tougher to be a number 1 seed, but two quarterbacks that are playing better than most were thinking. And I kind of wanted to get based off of what happened with Denver last weekend with Chicago, kind of want to get the guys' opinion on if you had to pick one, Bo Nix, Caleb Williams, who do you think is more likely to make their respective championship games? And Zero, I'm going to let you take this one.
Respective championship game, huh? Because I'm telling you, coming into the season, I was a hater. Oh, I was a hater on the Denver Broncos. I know P. Bush was all in on the Denver Broncos and looking quite nice in his bet with me right now. It looks like it's a guarantee to hit right now. But I'm like, Bo Nix, product of the system last year, but he's putting up some good numbers again. Like he put up some, like I thought he's gonna have some regression in his number because 29 touchdowns, 12 interceptions in his rookie year, even though he's old.
Nice.
Like, he's very old he's 25 years old right now. So like those are some really good numbers. Like he's 25 and like he's in his second year of playing.
Yeah, him and Penix, man.
Oh yeah. I'm like 29 and 12 last year, great numbers, 66 completion percentage with a pass rating over 93. I'm like, this is a very productive rookie season. Obviously, a lot of it's due to the coach. We follow with the 18 touchdowns, 8 picks right now. Like pretty similar QB ratings, exact same QBR this year. A lot lower completion percentage, but he's just doing what Sean Payton wants him to do right now with this offense, where he doesn't really have the benefit of dynamic weapons. Like if you look at the roster, like Cortland Sutton, it's nice.
Aging.
He's a receiver 1 in the offense, but he's not really a receiver 1.
Troy Franklin.
Like Troy Franklin, like that dude gets red zone targets for days right now. So I'm like, if you look at the offense on paper, like for skill position is Troy Franklin, Cortland Sutton, Pat Bryant, like Evan Ingram. I thought was going to have a decent year.
Me too.
Kind of non-existent. Like Evan Ingram has been a non-factor with a year where there's a lot of tight ends been very impactful. Evan Ingram is not one of them. And if you look at the running back room, of course, J.K. ends his typical season again out with the injury for the rest of the season, unless they make the Super Bowl. So he ain't coming back this year. You're down to a rookie in R.J. Harvey, where cute little back. He's a little fast, he's receiving back, but you're down to R.J. Harvey, Jaleel McLaughlin again. I'm like, they don't have a running back room again. Like after
they don't have a lot of talent,
who's a typical bruiser. Like these are all like kind of gadget backs. Like these aren't traditional like 3-down backs. These are kind of like
they need Javonte.
Oh yeah, they need Javonte this year because that dude's been an absolute animal this year. So if you look at it, Bo Nix, the only benefit I give him is that he's in a great system with an elite coach where he's benefiting. But if you look at the weapons around him, he doesn't really have that much to work with. Like, I give the offensive line is a good offensive
Very
line.
good. They built that first, which you got to
exactly.
give
Yeah,
for.
like you got a good old line with a good elite head coach. So those are the benefactors. So okay, Bo Nix benefits of that, but he's putting up some pretty productive numbers in that system. But I cannot say Bo Nix, man. I'm just not a Bo Nix guy. I'm like even though I have not been that impressed with Caleb Williams. I'm sorry. Like Caleb Williams, like I want a Caleb Williams to have that Drake May season. What Drake May is doing is what I was promised when Caleb Williams was drafted as the savior of a franchise. And you look at Caleb Williams, he's got more weapons than Bo Nix. He's got way more weepons than Bo Nix right now.
It's not even close.
You got receivers for days. They got Rome Odunze. You got a first round tight end in Colston Loveland, where they have not utilized him as much, but he might catch up.
Now they have,
and now they're using him a little more. But if you look at the weapons from a Cole Kmet too, he's a solid tight end too. So you got two pretty good tight ends. Rome Odunze, who's a receiver. Potential receiver one in the future, but he's kind of inconsistent this year. They also drafted Luther Burden with another high pick right there. So you're using draft capital to give your quarterback as many weapons as possible and as many people to grow. And they obviously beefed up the offensive line. So you're looking at his situation. And you got bringing Ben Johnson, who's called an offensive guru, offensive genius, play calling genius with the Detroit Lions. So you brought in a coach who was meant for Caleb. And his numbers, I know it's just last week, but 16 for 32, 23 QBRs, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Like him throwing the football, I've not been impressed. Like his legs impressed me more than his arm.
His escapability is pretty.
He's really mobile. He's able to fight through. Like he shows a lot of toughness, but I thought I want to see the Caleb like throwing some deep bombs down a little more. Like he's only got 2,300 like passing yards right now. He has a QBR of 54, which is the definition of just mid. He's a mid quarterback. 13 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. I'm like, whatever. Like he doesn't have these explosive games. And the only time where he looks really, really good is when the defense is atrocious on the other side of the ball. Like he shows up against really bad defenses, but when the defense is just decent, he doesn't look like an elite quarterback at all.
Mm-hmm.
But based on his pedigree, I'm going to give him a little more time. I'm Bo Nix. Like, he's just an older guy. So he is – Bo Nix is going to be what Bo Nix. He's peaked. Yeah. He's like the guy in high school that peaked, man. Like, you peaked.
The guy in high school is like in 8th grade, grew to like 6'2".
Yeah, he's doing good. Yeah, he peaked. Like, he's balling. I think I know what Bo Nix is. I still don't know what Caleb Williams is. Like, if he stays like this, Bo Nix is better. But I feel like his potential is still there. And with the head coach, I really believe in Ben Johnson. I really believe what he's trying to do in the culture. And even though, like, they are, like, winning these games through just grit and toughness and almost blowing every single
Monsters of the midway mentality.
Yeah. Like, there's a lot of, like, they might be 7-3. They could easily be 3-7.
And they could be 9-1.
I don't know about
that. That's just how their season.
In no universe are they not even in Caleb Williams' dreams. They are a 9-1 football team.
8-2 if they didn't blow that Vikings game in week 1.
Absolutely. Like I'm just like their record's amazing, but it's just not a great team. Would you agree? This is not a great team.
No. And I'll give you my reason.
I think they're in the mid category. I think they're below average. Just slightly below average football.
I'd put them in the 12 to 15. No, 12 to 16 range.
12 to 16. No, I have them both. I have them 16, 17, 18.
That's
like
fair.
I'm in that tier right now because I'm like
middle of the road.
They're squeaking by these wins, which all credit to you. You're winning these football games, but I need to see more from Caleb. Yeah. And DJ Moore.
I got a theory on that. I wonder if P. Bush will say it. But.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so wait. First of all, Zoo, I don't know who you. So you believe in Caleb Moore, but we're talking about making the NFC and AFC championship this year.
This year I got no hope in Caleb.
Okay, agreed.
Wait, so you're picking Bo?
I got no hope.
Wow,
that's just the team around him and what I've seen. Like
It's the defense.
I don't think this football team is good.
I don't think either team is good. Well, I think they have good moments.
Your Broncos actually look good, and they have some really, really good wins this year, and they have an elite defense. The Bears don't have an elite defense. The offense is kind of so, but you could ride an elite defense all the way.
Yes, and that's why I would pick the Broncos straight up. But what I will say is their ceiling and floor is very narrow. And it's high, but it's narrow. Like, they're never going to just blow a team out, but they're also not going to get blown out. And the Broncos just have less volatility, I think, is the good way I'm thinking about it compared to the Bears. So if you're asking me who's going to make their championship game, I'd give the Broncos. But if you tell me which team could get hot and go on a run, Sean, you pointed it out earlier. I mean, I'm not comparing them to the Chiefs of last year, but a team can just get confident in how they're winning games and just not falter. Like, I'd rather have a battle-tested team like the Chiefs last year than a team that was blowing everybody out in Detroit, right? Like, Detroit never knew how to play from behind. They needed to have a lead. Jared Goff now nice and comfortable, right? Yeah. That's a little Bo Nix. That's more Bo Nix. Now, he did have the great comeback win.
Yeah,
right.
He's been good in the fourth quarter.
And agreed.
Bo Nix had some really good stats in the fourth quarter.
And I would say, dude, that's his growth point year over year. I would give him a lot of credit that he's more poised, I think, in crunch time and in important play calling situations. But with the Bears, I think there's a couple things to consider. Zoo, you pointed it out, right? They have 7-3, maybe one quality win, maybe, and the rest are just kind of like, all right, we expect you to win. Well, you have to play the schedule in front of you. They do have one of the hardest strengths of schedule this year, and that's because of the back half of their season. If you look at like the rest of the teams that they have to play, I mean, they play the Eagles on Black Friday. I swear to God, if that ends in a tie, I'm going to be the happiest man alive. The Eagles-Bears alliance would be solidified. But they have to play the Eagles. They play the Lions again. They have to play the Packers twice. The Vikings they're done with, obviously. I think, Eagles. Who else do they got to play? I don't have it up right. The Browns. That's no joke, right? Their defense. They've taken down some good teams.
It's elite defense.
Elite defense. The DPOY. Right, in Myles Garrett for sure.
Yes, absolutely what he's doing this.
No, I do have to shout out Nick Bonito on the Broncos because he's a big reason why they're winning a lot of football games. He's probably a runner-up or third in that voting too. But yeah, Myles Garrett, you have to respect him all the time. He damn near owned Lamar Jackson this past week if Derrick Henry didn't actually show up for the first time since week 1. So once again, their schedule. So Zoo, I think, and to both of you, ask me this question in like 3 weeks, like after Thanksgiving, when they have a couple like quality games with good teams. And if they're staying in it and maybe win a few, I'll believe in this team a little bit more. But I think I would lean the Bears in a ceiling sense because they can do
really.
Because they have the second best rush attack in the league. People don't realize that. They have 2 legit running backs. I think Kyle Monangai, people got to give a little bit. He's a younger version of Kareem Hunt. And smaller. That's what he is. He's a goal line guy. He runs aggressively. I think they'll start to utilize him more. You guys already pointed out Caleb Williams' legs has a big part to do with that as well because he knows when to scramble. I think he's better at it year over year. That's arguably his improvement for me is his footwork and his decision-making is a little bit better. Like Zoo, he's not turning the ball over, right? Like you can argue that he's only thrown 2,313 touchdowns. But he's got a 3-to-1 ratio. It's not like he's 18.
He's a game manager right now for the roster.
Exactly. And they have the second best rush attack. DeAndre Swift has actually had a very good year and one that is outperforming my expectations because their offensive line is legit. They finally took that seriously. So they have all the pieces. And the most important aspect, they've been entirely banged up on the defensive side all year. Their D-line is not good. I'll say that. I don't like Montez Sweat. I mean, I like him, but I don't think he's worth the money. At the time he was when they paid him. I do like Austin Booker, their young guy on the opposite side of Montez. But their back 7, if they're healthy, those linebackers, they have 3 of the top 4 interception leaders in the league this year. Dennis Allen has this team flying around the field. Kevin Byard has been an all-pro at the safety position. They've just been missing their number 1 and a top 5 corner in the league in Jalen Johnson. Tyreek Stevenson's been banged up. Kyler Gordon, Brisker. All these guys, if they get their defensive guys back and this offense is not making dumb mistakes, i.e. turnovers, which they haven't been doing, I also would not want to face them in the playoffs, except if my name is Los Angeles Rams or Philadelphia Eagles. They'll get wiped by either one of those teams, but they could stay in a game with almost any other when they're healthy this year.
I don't know. I don't know. I got one question for you, though. What's their identity? Like, what is their identity for them to make it far?
Running the ball.
Running the ball?
Yes. They're second in the league, Zoo. Second.
They're really good at running the ball. I had to look the stats up.
Like week 4, it's week 11.
Yeah, their rushing yards per game, it did shock me.
And then you want to know what it is?
The Buffalo Bills or the Colts and the Ravens. I just still believe those are way more threatening rushing attacks.
Agreed, and they're all in the AFC. We're talking about the NFC here.
Yeah. I think I'm with P. Bush. Like, the potential of the Bears.
Yeah, they're upside.
Like, and it's really, like I said, just looking at the rushing attack. Like, I didn't even realize they like the whatever the backup Kyle, whatever his name, him and Swift, like that's a two-headed monster to where you can control a lot of, and like you said, when it comes to the playoffs, you have to have the quarterback. We all know that. But part of what makes guys like Mahomes, guys like Lamar, guys like Josh, any of these elite quarterbacks great, and we're not saying Caleb's on that level or Bo Nix, but what makes them great is they have some semblance of a run game, right? And sometimes when that run game's not there, they can superhuman and make plays and then win games. But when they're, if you ask them at any point of the season or in a playoff game or whatever, they're going to say, I want my running back to get 15, 20 carries and dominate so it makes my life easier. So I think with the Bears, they have that. Quickly on the Broncos, the thing with me is Zoo pointed it all out. I just don't think I see anything on the offensive side that is worth wild. I, like a lot of people, thought Evan Ingram was going to be that difference maker because I was assuming that if Evan Ingram gets to a space in Denver, he's going to open it up for Sutton, Troy Franklin, all of these guys, and it's going to become a more explosive offense. The offense to me, and I keep going back, I can't remember what game it was, and I know it was really windy, but it was I don't know who they were playing, but it's just the offense looks so bad, and the defense came to the rescue and they ended up winning. But to me, it's just like, I think it was against the Raiders, that Raiders game. It's just like I can't get that image out of my game or that image out of my head of where I know Bo Nix is good, and it kind of looks like unless he just tanks over the next couple of years, he's going to get to a second contract and get paid a lot of money. But it just feels like it's a ceiling. And
Brock Purdy-ish.
A lot of it is, it is very Brock Purdy. The only difference is I feel like Bo is a little bit more dynamic. Like he can make a little bit more of like the dynamic throw and the dynamic run. Brock Purdy's not a slouch in terms of that area because the only difference is he's probably just shorter doing it. But Bo Nix, it's really mean to say he's a Sean Payton merchant, but it just kind of feels like that. It just feels like Sean Payton has a guy who the reason why he reached for him on draft day is because he studied tape. He's an older guy, and him coming into a new situation, he thought, look, this is going to be an older guy who's athletic, who's good enough to where if he does what he's supposed to do, he can. Because that's the thing, too, with Sean Payton's offense. Like, he puts a lot on his quarterbacks, and I think it takes a while for even guys like Bo Nix to, like, get invested into it and then get a handle on it. Because he's one of the brighter minds, Sean Payton, in the league. So I'm not saying that's easy for him to do, but I think he just liked the maturity of Bo Nix, and that's what's helping him. Now, I think
also pushes back on him. I think he respects that too.
Yeah, and he does that too because he's 25. So yeah,
Breeze did that.
He's not going to take junk because Bo Nix, if you go look at his college story, like he's been through a lot. So there's nothing that's going to really phase him. So I think that's why too he plays well in the fourth quarter because he's just been through it all. But transition to the Bears. Reason why I'm picking them is just because of the potential. Because what do you think? Do you think Jalen Johnson comes back?
Yeah, probably not this week, but week 13.
Because
he's already practicing.
The thing is, if they get him back and it just helps lift their defense to where, like I said, I think they like leading or top 2 or 3, whatever in takeaways. Like they're a good defense.
3 dudes with like a total of 13 picks across the 3 of them.
Yeah, so I think the defense is good enough. And to me, Caleb Williams, like this is the theory. You didn't say it, but this is what I've been thinking. Like Ben Johnson, like he coached Jared Goff. Jared Goff is like an on-script type of quarterback. And I think with Caleb, his entire life, because he's with not entirely, but like when he was with Lincoln in college, Lincoln's offense is a whole lot more freer. And I think with Ben, why I think Caleb is not really gotten to that second level yet. It's because Ben's not like if this is gonna sound crazy, but if he had Kevin McConnell, who is doing what JJ McCarthy's doing, because I was thinking about this, like I think why JJ McCarthy's struggling is because Kevin McConnell's trying to run him around like he's a all-time quarterback that can throw the ball.
Guy.
Like JJ McCarthy, if you go look at him in Michigan, he was a hardball system quarterback that was throwing the ball 20-25 times and had a great running game. McConnell looks at JJ McCarthy and thinks he's got this guy who's got a cannon for an arm. He's got an okay arm that can throw it around a lot 40 times. If Kevin McConnell was the Chicago coach, I think Caleb would be unlocked even more because Caleb has that in him to do that, to play free. Ben Johnson ain't built that way. Go look, like you said, with Jared Goff, he had a guy who played on script and on system. And I think that's why at the beginning of the season, there's a little bit of a struggle because Caleb, that's hard to get used to, like playing on rhythm. Like he does not want really Caleb going out of, doing freestyle and doing whatever. He's really good at that. And that's not to say that if a play breaks down, he can't do that. But I think Ben wants him to play within the offense. And I think now that Caleb kind of understands that, his stats are not going to be as flashy because the one thing Caleb don't do is turn the ball over, which is really good. But you're not going to get the 4 touchdown games. And I could see, Zoo, your point of like, well, he should be having more of those games because of the talent he has. And I agree. He should have a little bit more explosive games. But I do think because of the running game and the potential, that's what I'm going off of. Like, there is a chance, like, if they were to keep with this momentum and that team, like, like I said, Loveland, Moore, Rome, like, there is a chance that they, once they make the playoffs, that's a scary out because then you're, like you said, the pressure's not going to be on the Bears, whoever they're playing more than likely. So then it's like these guys, you're just playing free and you have the potential of Rome going off, the potential of DJ. Like, so you already have the running game and Caleb has it in him to do it. So I think that's why I lean slightly with the Bears because of the potential of their weapons on the outside to maybe have a game or two in the playoffs that's really high. Versus Denver, if the defense is probably going to come to play because they're really, really good. But if the defense has like, a couple of drives where they're not good, I'm not expecting Bo to like lead a explosive. Yeah, I'm not really expecting that with Bo. So I plus to the AFC because in the NFC, you're right. Eagles, Rams.
Yep.
But if you start like, it's funny with the Bears. Like, obviously, I was just talking about the Eagles and Rams, like just talent acquisition. They have it. The Bears are like a lighter version of that. Like they got dudes on their roster too. It's just not to that level. So, am I expecting Caleb to go against Stafford? No. Jalen? No. But I mean, if their momentum, there's a potential to where you look up and it's like if it's a game against the Eagles or the Rams, it's like, oh shoot, it's like only 24-16 going into the fourth. Like you didn't expect that. That could be possible because the Bears have the.
Don't get my hopes up, man. Oh, I'm just kidding. Yeah. No, I'm tempered.
Momentum's a heck of a thing, man. Momentum is a thing.
It is, no, for sure. And Caleb, it's confidence. It's confidence.
Caleb, the thing I like.
Zoo doesn't believe, man. He's not a believer yet.
I'm not.
And I agree.
I've not been impressed this year.
I agree.
Every time
I think it's more system, though. You think it's because he's not. I think it's system. I really do think it's system, though, with him. I don't think it's because Caleb don't turn the ball over. That's the thing. If he was turning the ball over and was still in this, I'd be like, I'm out. But he's like playing to win. And sometimes as a quarterback, everybody can't be Mahomes and Josh Allen and Lamar. Like, you can still be a great quarterback.
That's what he was sold as.
Throw for 200 yards. And he's the number one pick. And in college, he was doing that. So I get it. I'm just looking at Ben Johnson. Like, he had Jared Goff, and Jared Goff
in his system looks better than Caleb Williams.
Because Jared Goff can't play off script.
Right.
He's not.
He's saying Ben Johnson's is a scripted system.
Yeah. And it works. That's why I think if
Caleb isn't like that.
If Ben Johnson had like JJ, I really do think if they switch, you would see the best of both quarterbacks. Because Kevin O'Connell loves to, because even when he had Kirk Cousins and when he had who do you have after him? Sam Darnold. Like Darnold's now Kirk Cousins is not an athlete, and Darnold's a little bit of he's an athlete, I guess you could say. But with those two, you could see how they have the skill set to air out. You got multiple receivers. Because if you look at Minnesota, like they got receivers too. Like his system is air raid a little bit. Ben Johnson, I think, is more what you're seeing. Like you said, he had the two backs in Detroit, Gibbs and whatever. Like it's just similar. So I think it's the mentality. And the only reason why I'm saying this is because Caleb is not trying to bucket and just go crazy and throw like 2 or 3 picks a game. Because if he was doing that, I'd be like, he's not listening to the system and I don't trust it. But the fact that he can play a game like he played last week and win, I kind of like that he's accepting, like, I ain't got to throw for 4 touchdowns. But then I still have the capability to do it, though, and I have the weapon. So that's why I would pick them versus 25-year-old Bo. 25-year-old.
It's a toss-up.
Whatever his name is. Yeah, it is a toss-up. But I thought that was interesting. So we'll see. I think we could all agree that both could all be in the playoffs. It's just going to be about seeding. Like, I think if I had to put money on it, Denver's going to be on the path for number 1. And I don't see a chance in heck that Chicago even gets to. I mean, what is it, like probably a 4% chance they get close to a 1 seeded? The Eagles and Rams would
have to beat the Eagles on Black Friday.
It's a big game.
It is.
I wonder what the spread would be on that. Where is that? Chicago or is that?
I'd have to look. That's a good question. I don't know if it's home or away.
Because if that's in Chicago, I don't know, man. That might be.
Yeah.
Little Eagles, but yeah,
it's in Philly. It's in Philly.
Yeah, we're screwed.
Black Friday.
Hey, but you know what? Yeah. I take solace in the fact that Aaron Rodgers had to feel the need to get hurt. You know, he didn't want to face the Bears and potentially lose face in his last season. You know,
it's his left wrist or right?
Left wrist. Yeah.
Wrap it up, Aaron. Wrap it up. Put a little air gas on it. Steeler Nation.
Come on, you're going to blow the lead to the Ravens, and then
facts. He has to play. I don't even know who their backup would be, but. Yeah, so getting into our NFL bets, people should go ahead and start us off on your last week winnings and this week.
Thank you to Jacoby Brissett, Michael Wilson, and Trey McBride, the best triple stack of the year. Damn near that might be the best triple stack of the year on a value basis. I mean, Brissett's super cheap. And, you know, I do have my eye on him again this week. You know, there's some juicy matchups this week in a fantasy sense. And dude, this might be a week you might want to play some DraftKings this week. You got the Chiefs, your Chiefs against the Colts. I think that could be a very high scoring game. I'd lean on the Pat Mahomes side. Caleb in Pittsburgh, obviously. Dude, I'm not saying to start Mason Rudolph, but I think I think they're going to get funneled into the passing game a little bit more. You know, we saw the struggle. We've seen some struggling teams in the rush attack against the Steelers. So I'd lean more on potentially a Bears passing stack. Goff versus the Giants, that could be a feast fest unless you want to lean Gibbs, which I also am considering him for a few lineups. Like I already said, Jacoby versus Jacksonville, that could be a little trappy, you know, based on how Jacksonville's defense has been playing. I'd be curious to see how they face up against McBride and how maybe Michael Wilson's pulling a little Rico Dowdle RB style on Marvin Harrison, man, because that was impressive against him.
I never even heard of him.
Well, I've heard of him for a couple of years, and he's always been kind of quiet, but he's a little Michael Pittman-like, but used more on the outside. So Jalen Hurts against Dallas, another juicy game.
That's juicy.
Juicy game. Drake May versus Cincinnati. I mean, you're right. There's some really good. I got a lot of lineups this week, but I'll talk about my core one. I think it's going to be Hurts versus Dallas. That's what I'm going to go with. I'm actually going to do the full double stack of AJ and Devontae Smith. I think the Eagles are like, okay. I think the Eagles are like, okay, we just took down the Lions, who are not a scrubby defense. And we did it mostly by passing the ball. And Dallas, we have to also give credit. Their rushing defense is actually pretty damn good when they added Kenny Clark. I know their pass rush isn't great, but then they add Quentin Williams from the Jets, an all-pro D tackle. I mean, look, it's not going to be a cakewalk for Saquon Barkley this week, so I kind of like leaning the passing game. Sprinkling a little Goddard if you want to, but yeah, that's a little too volatile for me.
Both Devontae and AJ.
Give me both. And then I'm doing the bring back with George Pickens, man. I like
George of the Jungle.
George of the Jungle doing the bring back. I think, if anything, I know the Eagles defense is not to the level it has been in years past, but I think they do still heavy focus on CD. In the red zone, they'll be focusing a lot on Ferguson. Those are kind of the go-to guys for different reasons. So give me George Pickens, man. I know he might get a little bit of extra coverage after the game last night, but give me that all day. Travion Henderson against the Bengals, absolute feast fest. Please give me that, and twice on Sundays. And then ATN against Arizona. I like that. They've been using him a lot more. Tootin seems to be banged up as well. If Tootin was healthy, I would not be making that pick. But at 5,900 for an RB1 with really no backup against a potential positive game script, give me that all day. And then I'm going double tight end to afford that Eagles stack with Pickens, and one of them, Trey McBride, man. I'm going right back to him in the
Oh.
flex position. Trey McBride is an absolute monster, and I'm doing the bring back with Noah Fant. I think T. Higgins is going to get a lot of attention. Hear me out. Jamar Chase is out, man. He's suspended.
So that's true. That's true.
And
That's true.
Patriots, you know, T. Higgins is going to have Christian Gonzalez on him. Joe Flacco is going to need some quick throws to get outside of pressure. Noah Fant, man, he's gotten a decent amount of red zone targets and a lot more looks, even with Chase playing. So, but take out one of the major weapons. You could go Yoshivas if you want to. Go for it. But he's a little bit more expensive now that Chase is out. And then lastly, I do not believe in Kirk Cousins. Give me the Saints defense at $2,500.
You're right, man. That is a lot of juicy, man.
It's going to be a good money week.
There's a lot of bad defenses and a lot of nice QB matchups. Yeah, I'll get in it this week. For sure, man. Spread picks, man. Not going to lie, honestly. I've been keeping track, man. The record has been absolutely abysmal.
1 in 10?
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
Is it really 1 in 10?
One win this year. I'm like, man, that like it's kind of hard to be that bad actually, because
you have to try.
Holy moly! Like I'm talking about last week. I completely misread that game because Jesus.
Everyone did.
Yeah, I'm looking at where I can't figure them out. It's a very bipolar team, and same with the Chargers. I'm like, I really don't know what happened, honestly, because I still don't think the Jaguars are a good football team. Trevor Lawrence didn't really do much. Like, it was just the defense getting it done, holding Justin Herbert down, and he had probably one of his worst games ever, like Herbert. So, like,
for sure,
props to the Jaguars defense for getting it done. They're still trying to fight the division with the Colts leading, so they got a nice, very impressive win. They killed them, like they absolutely killed them. So they absolutely deserve to get that W. It was no fluke, even though Trevor Lawrence wasn't impressed again, man. Like every time I watch Trevor Lawrence play, I am not impressed.
Their rushing attack is good.
Yeah, definitely. Like ETN, like ETN has been finding the end zone. I mentioned too, and like he's out, so ETN gets more opportunity to be in the workhorse running back, even though they just don't seem to like using ETN in that role because he's more of a finesse back, so they don't want to put that load on his body. But yeah, ETN has been very, very productive this year, over 700 rushing yards with 5 touchdowns. So he's having a terrific year this year. So me personally, man, I'm looking at these spreads, man. I'm cold on spreads. I am very, very cold on spreads. And I'm looking at these spreads right now. There's a lot of big spreads. Like, the Lions, right? -10.5. That's a fat spread.
Depends.
I'm going with the fat spread, man. -10.5. I'm going with the fat spread because it's something about the Lions. When they play against a bad team, they just run up the score. They absolutely run up the score. But this is a classic Lions. Giants are a 2-9 football team. Jackson Dart, I don't know if he's playing. Like, if
you better hope he does.
Jackson Dart, that dude just gets concussed like every single game because he rushes like a maniac. But if you're looking at this Lions team right now at home, they're 3-1 at home, 6-4 overall. So record-wise, not having the great Lions season that a lot of people have expectations of. But one thing they do, like they annihilate teams when they beat teams. Like you remember as a Bears fan, like when they beat a team, they beat them down. Like they show no mercy with that Russian attack. And like Gibbs gets a term, Monty gets a term. Like everybody shares in these blowout games. So this is that classic blowout game. Like we're looking at some of the previous blowouts because when they are against inferior teams, Commanders, they doubled up them 44-22. Chicago Bears 52-21. A bad Browns team 34-10. Like Bengals 37-24. They just bucking you 24-9. Like when they win by a significant margin. So for me personally, I'm going with the Detroit Lions at home. Jared Goff. Let's get it done, boys. They got a lot of incentive to win right now.
1-11
right now.
Jackson Dart 6 touchdowns incoming right here. Mini Jalen. It does. I think I would be more if he plays. I'd be a little hesitant because 10 points, man. You're getting that 10 point. You know, if you could lose on a 10-point game.
Yep. I give you that. You that.
Yeah.
The bigger spreads.
You're right though. They'll run up the score.
That's the thing. I have no like if they lose this game against the Giants, man, I don't know.
Give the Bears the crown for the NFC.
I just don't know, man. I just don't know. You cannot lose to a Giants team that's 0-6 on the road. They're 0-6.
Yeah.
And the Detroit's a very good home team.
Mm-hmm.
So
safe pick.
I need a dub, man. I need a dub.
Yeah. I split last week. Don't feel too bad though, because I mean the fact that Josh Allen went for 6 touchdowns. I liked how the Bucs were playing the game. They were moving the ball up and down the field. It's just Josh Allen went to God mode, so that was whatever. But got my Broncos win with the. I think I had you either had money line or spread.
Smash money line, man. You smash money line.
Yeah, that was a nice little get. And I was very interested and invested when I was watching that last drive with Bo Nix driving them down. So was excited about that. This week, it's a lot of whacked out spreads, a lot of close spreads. This is another one where I'm like, I don't know, man. Do I want to keep picking on this team? You keep playing with fire, you might get burnt. But again, this gets into the space of must win. But if you look at the Indianapolis Colts, man, it ain't just like, yes, Daniel Jones had a resurrection, but that team outside of him and Jonathan Taylor is really talented. It's a really talented team. Like defense is solid, offensive line is exceptional. Chris Jones, you would have thought, like, especially in that last game, like he maybe would make an impact, something. Chris Jones usually always shows up in those moments, maybe get a sack to put Bo Nix and them in, a 3rd and 13 or a 3rd and 20 or whatever. It just didn't happen. Not saying he's washed, but it's just like Chris Jones, the impact is probably only saved for the playoffs if they do get there. Mm-hmm. I like the running game. I could see a game where they're just pounding the rock. Next thing you know, Jonathan Taylor's got 27 carries for like 115 yards. Like, I know the Chiefs realize they have to win this game, but the Colts are also looking at this too. Like, we kind of want to make a statement of, hey, we're here too in the AFC, and if we do get to the playoffs, we're not going to be an easy out. Because I think Steichen and Daniel Jones have a little bit of vendetta, but I kind of like it. It's plus 3.5. You could take that, or I'm taking just straight up money line. Screw it. Like, I don't think it's going to be. You could argue. I could make the same argument last week for when I was talking about with the Broncos. Like, I think it was 3.5 too with them. And it's like they could win by 4, whatever. So either way, you could take it. Because if I were to take that off, it would still put it at plus 310. But
I'll tell you right now, Sean.
Plus 464.
Forgot to plug this, but JT has hit 10K on DraftKings, so everybody knows. I've never seen him play 10K.
Really?
And
that is insane.
And the Chiefs, Sean, they have the 7th best rush defense, I think, if I remember correctly. So
yeah,
they're still expecting Jonathan Taylor to have a big game, and that's purely on the O-line. I think
their line is pretty stacked.
Yeah.
Quentin Nelson, the anchor, and the rest of those guys they're pretty
I like that.
And that's the thing. A lot of these teams, like, just sidebar for a second, like, I look at Arizona is like, because they're going to be part of my next pick, but like, they have a really good team. They just need a QB. They just need a healthy QB. Look at Brissett. Like, Brissett's older, so it's like he's just doing whatever he can. But like, they are another team where they just get a quarterback, just a good one. They don't have to have a great one. Mm-hmm. Like, they could be in a lot of games. So looking at that game, this could bite. I think this one could bite me even more because, again, we all think Jacksonville was okay, but they have these. It's if you're a Jags fan and you hear this podcast, you're saying everybody in this podcast thinks, oh, they're okay. It's like if I'm a Jags fan, I'm like, listen, we beat Kansas City. We've had 2 games where we've just dominated, which never happens in the NFL, where you just dominate and embarrass an opponent. Like, they've had 2 games like that. So it's something with the team itself, and we know it's not Trevor Lawrence. It's something within the fabric of the team where they just know how to rise up and just beat the dog crap out of teams. And on this one, I'm thinking because of last week of what they did, they're more likely to sleepwalk. Brissett is a very viable option for the Cardinals. It's plus 2.5. I just said Cardinals money line. It's plus 124. Like I said, combining both of these bets puts me at plus 464. The only other one I was looking at before I was until you mentioned Aaron Rodgers like possibly not playing was that game, just because it's like Pittsburgh kind of needs it. They have to have it because Baltimore's surging. So if Aaron was playing, it's like, okay, I could see them maybe rising up. But those are really the only 2 games I kind of like. I'm like, say the rest of them, like those, the Seahawks, Titans, all those, Baltimore, New York. It's a lot of massive spreads, 6.5, 10.5, 13.5. Staying away. Money line
college level right there, man.
Yeah, for real. It's been a couple of those the last couple of weeks, but yeah, so we'll see. But those are the 2. Like I said, if you do Cardinals money line, Colts money line, push you at plus 464. Or if you want to do Colts, just plus 3.5. I think that puts you at plus 310, which is not as juicy, but
it's still good though. For a field goal.
It's still decent enough. Yeah, for a 2 leg. So yeah, it's a big week for the Chiefs. I know last week the Broncos got them. They were more of a, I guess you would say, worthy opponent. But with it being in Kansas City, this feels a little bit more must-winny because it's at home. Yeah. So if they get but if they get beat at home, I think it's safe to say that it might be some retooling in the KC kingdom, Chiefs kingdom. So we'll see.
Yep.
We'll see with that.
Big season.
Very big season for sure. So we're finishing up our bets. You guys make sure you're tuned into our podcast on Quantrell Knows or on YouTube with the name of Quantrell Knows. Also on our Instagram, our TikTok, Tyson Talks _. Make sure if you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple, you always give us a 5-star review, thumbs up. Even now they have comments. If you want to comment and give us a, prediction on whatever, just put it in there and make sure they're nice so it doesn't push us down the algorithms. And also make sure when you're on YouTube to give us a thumbs up as well. And for me, Zoo, and P-Bush, we are